Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt here with Rita Gigante and Linda Armstrong. Today is Friday, July the 31st, 2020, 4 p.m. New York time. And wherever you are in the world, thanks for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy. July 31st. We're at the end of July.
I can't.
You realize, I mean, I haven't noticed this up until now, but this year is cooking. This year is moving along.
I'll tell you, they have all these, on QVC, HSN, it's like Christmas in July. Every morning I get up, they're selling a Christmas tree, or they're selling a reindeer, or they're selling Santa. Like, get out of here.
Maybe they've had enough of COVID too. They figure if they advance the clock, it will get us past it faster, right?
Well, I'm just not ready for that yet. I don't want cold yet.
Well, all I know is I've been working so much on the app, I've kind of lost track of time. So maybe that's why I've kind of been jarred by today's date. But the good news is that the update that I've been working on to fix the issue with iPhones and iPads, which was basically preventing not the live stream, but the scroll of new episodes to fail to update, that the update that fixes that is now out there. So the only drawback is the previous update was done about 10 days ago, and Apple doesn't do an automatic update within a 14-day period. You have to wait for the 14 days. So some people won't get the automatic update until like next Wednesday. But what you can do is you can log into your apps and just re-download it, and it'll update it. But
cool.
Good news is it's out, so I got that off my plate, and I like that.
Nice.
Yeah, we're promoting it. I've been doing promotion on the David Strickle with the stream, getting a lot of response on that. And we're going to be trying something today that's new for us on Friday. We're going to start promoting this too, that you guys proposed during the week, doing psychic readings on questions, which was, I mean, usually you hear about people getting a psychic reading by, they call a psychic and talk for an hour and, pay for their time and all that kind of stuff. But we're talking about taking a question and applying your psychic ability to answer that question. That's a kind of a novel way of doing it.
Sure.
What made you come up with that approach?
I'm a little confused because Rita is a psychic reader. That's what she does. She's a psychic and a healer.
Yeah.
So if you didn't, I don't know if you didn't realize that, but this is
no, I knew that. It's the format that's different.
Oh,
so he's saying because they're quick.
Because they're quick questions.
Yeah.
Right. Usually you spend a half hour, an hour,
right, yeah,
answering questions, right?
Oh.
Yeah. No, I knew she was psychic. I just didn't. This is a different format. It's cool. It's a good format.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
So anybody who's logging on the live stream now.
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
Just let me say, Walt, that it'll be interesting because you and Linda will, because we're energetically linked, you may also pick up information from spirit to bring. Just don't be, like surprised if that happens. Yeah, don't be surprised.
Well, I'll try not to be surprised. When I have a new experience, I'm usually surprised, but I'll try to pretend I'm not. Okay.
Gotcha.
And I'll just add, in case there aren't any questions already lined up or new people around, I got a question.
Okay. Well, people are starting to tune in, and I just wanted to say, if you want your question to be answered by Rita using her tremendous psychic abilities, just post it into the live stream, and I will bring it into the conversation. But go ahead, Linda.
Oh yeah. All right, cool.
Your turn.
I actually had a reading with Rita sometime during the week, or the days are running together for me. So
I know.
We just moved out of our karate school. Remember last week, Walt, I was saying my business could fail tomorrow, my karate school business, but I'm not going to be like doom and gloom about it. Whatever happens, happens. And all these things were progressing. Well, the very next day we had an opportunity to move into a much cheaper space, a quarter of what we're paying now.
Oh, nice.
So we packed everything up, started moving. Now that space has some difficulties to it. This is my question for Rita. I'm coming into it. But then I don't remember when I talked to you, Rita, if I told you there was another opportunity that popped up that we're waiting to hear, which the space is like perfect. Don't know what they would want per month. Plus that business actually may not even be around because they're also in the fitness industry. So, so my question for Rita is if she's getting any hits on if there'll be difficulty getting into another space come like September.
No, I'm
October.
Not feeling any difficulty.
Okay.
It's going to be one or the other. This one, the one you're connected to now, that's why the rent is so low, because there's difficulty there. So they wanted to make sure somebody was in there paying, but you definitely need to look at that other one, because
Yeah.
there's actually better energy in the other one, believe it or not.
Yeah, the other one is already set up. It's great. And we would split time because that business really does their stuff in the morning hours, and our stuff doesn't start till like 4.
Yeah.
Between 4 and 8, our karate stuff doesn't start till 4 to 8.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Energetically, it feels better.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
And there could be something else for all I know. See, I'm just keeping it open to whatever possibilities want to come.
Right. Right. But that's anyway. Yeah, no, I don't see an issue at all, to be honest with you.
All right.
Actually, I really feel September more than October.
So it's gotta be sooner.
Yeah, so I feel it sooner because you're actually putting the energy into it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to manifest much quicker. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, we already know it, that Linda is like the queen of energy coaching. So if her energy wasn't going to get it there, nobody was. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And, you know, even that first space, if it didn't work out, it was like the catalyst to really make that move, to disconnect from the building we had been in, you know? Yep. It's like it totally gave us that momentum. And now we're in an open, clean space.
And the old building, it's that it was saturated. Like it was, you know, like the energy was saturated. There was no more room to grow. So this next space is going to give you that room.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Not a surprise at all, but good. Well, I say that because you've been taking some pretty strong action last week or so. And so often when we talk about attracting something, people often think about it in terms of, you know, I just want it to come into my life. But you almost always have to take some form of action in order to allow it, in order to receive it in.
Sure.
You took massive action this week.
Yeah, she just pushed it forward with momentum. That's what she did.
And there were lots of little cues along the way. Like we had to move these heavy our floor was a matted surface, like, you know, this thick, this dense foam. And normally it's a big headache to move those things. We moved them like so easily in half of a day.
Wow.
And we're loading up the truck and we're putting stuff that we're not going to use anymore, like these big heavy bags. And there's a guy, can I buy one of those? I mean, it's just like, yeah, you can buy one. Sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love it when those things happen. We had the same thing happen when we moved from Virginia to Connecticut. We had it happen with a pickup truck. And it's a story that I wrote into the book that we published a couple of years ago. But it was part of a larger story. But on that part of the story, we were planning to drive this truck north with us along with the moving van. And then we realized we couldn't do that because we had cats. This is a pickup truck. We couldn't put cats even in cages in the back, because I mean, that's just, especially in the winter. I mean, this is winter time. So we said, okay, well, what we got to do then is we have to rent another van. You know, it's an enclosed van, and then get the truck up there, because Louise can't drive that far. I can drive that far, but Louise can't drive that far. So we said, oh, I know. Well, maybe the moving company can move it. So we contact the moving company. Yeah, we can tow your truck up. Oh, cool. That's great. Well, they got there on the day of the move and they said, we checked our insurance. We can't do that. Uh-oh. What do we do now? We're moving today. You know, what do you do with a pickup truck, right? And within like 10 minutes, one of his employees came up and said, is the pickup truck for sale? I'd like to buy it.
Oh my God. Talk about divine timing.
It got even better than that, because I said, well, sure. I mean, what do you have a price in mind? What do you want to pay for it? Now, I had been thinking I was going to try to get $1,200 back, you know, when we had time to move it, if I was going to try to sell it. And he says, well, I'll give you $1,500 for it. I said, okay. And then the owner comes up and says, well, I'm not sure it's worth $1,500, but you should probably give him $1,200. I said, okay. So basically he wrote off $1,200 on a moving expense, and we gave him a pickup truck. It's like, wow, this is cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I love what happens when you just kind of let things come in.
Yeah.
Because we were open. I mean, we were basically helpless. There was nothing we could do that day. So you just kind of roll with the punches at that point.
You got to give it up, right? You got to let it go.
What else are you going to do? You know? So anyway, got a question from Jenny for you. She says, how can I let go of my clutter?
How can she let go of her clutter?
Her clutter. Yeah.
Yeah. This is an emotional attachment for her. And so by having it, she feels like full, like, you know, when someone wants to eat food because they want to fill themselves up, not with food, but with something else that they feel they're missing. That's what the clutter is making her feel like. So it's the question is, what do I need to release so that I can release my clutter? What do I need to release from my life so that I can release my clutter? And it's one thing at a time, because I understand that. It's like, I'm the pivotal, like I haven't used it in a year, it's gone. It's gone. So, because I'm not using it anymore. So somebody else will use it, whether I sell it or, you know, I put it out on the side of the road and someone picks it up. It's going to get recycled somehow. But that's what I'm hearing. It's more about her having to go in to declutter what's going on in here, figure out what she needs so that she can remove the stuff in her house. It's emotional. It's coming from the emotional body.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's connected to love. Like maybe having all that stuff is a way that she's able to, I don't know why it's coming in that way, to feel love in some way. So whether it's emotional attachments to the things because they maybe belong to other people or were in her family forever, but she really doesn't like it, but it's there. It's just clutter. I don't know if there's something more to that, if you get anything more than that, Rita, but somehow there would, for me, I felt this connection.
It's emotional. Yeah, it's emotional. It's a way to be filled up just like someone does with food, but they're not hungry. You know, they just want to fill something up.
Well, doesn't this kind of fit into the concept that we here on the show tend to call a familiar zone? Most people call it a comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because in that familiar zone, it feels familiar. It feels safe. It may not be great feeling, but it feels safe. It feels like, okay, this I know I can count on this, even if I don't like it a whole lot.
If she starts with one thing at a time, it'll just build after that. One thing. Yeah. Start one thing every day.
I was feeling like even one room, and then she could feel what the opening, if there's some kind of an opening or new, like you want to make room for new possibilities to come. So when there's so much clutter and your attention is, because you're connected to everything, right? So your attention is so spread out with so much stuff, it makes it hard for you to see what might be coming forward. So she could even try with like one room even to feel how the space would feel different. Even just putting it into the garage or into a storage somehow, like not totally detaching it, but moving it from her space to feel the difference. And then if she doesn't think about any of that stuff for a couple of weeks, then maybe she can find someone else who can take it or just donate it or whatever.
The most important piece is to figure out, like once she starts to do that, like a piece at a time, she has to sit with herself, see how it feels, because there might be something coming up attached to what she's throwing away. The emotional piece that's coming up is what she needs to look at so that she can release it. And then she'll start to feel freer. And then all of a sudden she'll just be doing one of these, throwing everything.
She'll be addicted. Addicted to it.
Yeah. It's very symbolic.
I'm reminded of what my dad went through when it was the last time that he moved. My wife and I actually moved to Virginia to help them do their move. And they were moving from their retirement home on a lake to a senior center, just because they were getting to a point where they knew they were going to need help. And there was, as a result of these moves later on in life, there's a lot of downsizing that goes on. So they had done previous downsizing, but they were down to the more difficult stuff to let go of. And my dad in particular had a large closet full of stuff that was like that. And what we ended up doing with him was we did the easy stuff first, the stuff that he had the less attachment to. And so we kind of went through a sorting process. Is this one that's hard to get rid of? Yes. Okay, we'll put it over in this pile. Is this hard to get rid of? Not so hard. Okay, we'll put it in this pile. Is this hard to decide? Or we didn't even say get rid of it. We said make a decision about, because he didn't want to get rid of any of it.
Right. Right.
So we made 2 piles, and the second pile was the one that was just the easier stuff, and then we went through that stuff, and that went pretty quickly, kind of like what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And then we went to the first pile, and my dad was so attached to all of it, he literally could not make a decision about any of it. And what he ended up doing was, he said to me, "Walt, you just got to decide for me. I can't decide.
Okay.
I just can't decide." And I said, "Okay, Dad, no problem." And I helped him leave the room. And then I, took 5 minutes to decide. It didn't take all that long for me because I didn't have the attachments he had,
Put it
right?
all in the bag, out.
Yeah, it was really simple. There were a few items that I could keep for him, and most of them went out. And I just took him away from it so he didn't have to deal with, what he's
I've
letting
had
go of.
plenty of people ask me to come and help them do that.
Mm,
Help them with that decision making.
yeah.
Because sometimes there's guilt attached. If you get rid of something, sometimes, especially like people with religious stuff, can I throw this out? Can I get rid of this rosary? Can I do this, that, and we have to sort through the emotional piece of it. So.
And some of it is not going to necessarily seem to have any particular meaning, like a religious meaning. I mean, there were a few items there that, when I looked at them, I said, "Why is he attached to these? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense." But he
Right.
had huge attachment. He had
Yeah.
major attachment. It didn't have anything to do with any kind of, strong religious belief. He's a very religious person, or was a very religious person. Didn't have anything to do with, anything philosophical. It was no particular family meaning. It was just stuff that, for the longest time, he had a very strong attachment to.
Yeah.
You know, and that happens. So that shows the value of bringing somebody else in who you trust,
Sure.
who you care about,
Sure.
somebody close to you.
She should do that if she can't
Yeah,
if she can't find her way with it,
because they can help you through it. Actually,
Yeah.
now that I think about it, Louise helped me through something like that. Because shortly after we met, I had a condo at the time, and she was living in an apartment when we met, and I needed to sell the condo, but the condo was kind of messed up. I had not been a happy camper living there, and it was reflected in the place. It wasn't like piled with clutter, but it was a mess,
Mm.
and I couldn't face dealing with it.
Mm.
So she basically came over and helped me just throw stuff away. And
Yeah.
just having her do that made it so much easier, which was contrary to what I had originally thought. I thought that having her in there would be so embarrassing.
Right.
And it was at first. For the first 3 minutes, really, really embarrassing. But after I got past that first 3 minutes, like you were describing, it just started to flow really fast,
Yeah.
really, really quickly. And there was a lot of relief associated with that.
Oh God,
Relief
yeah.
came very, very quickly.
Yeah.
I
You
didn't even have
feel
to look at the
lighter.
emotions. It was just like, the relief was like, flowing out the window. It was that much.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's awesome.
Yeah. So Jenny says she appreciates the input. Thank you very much.
You're
And she says, "I
welcome.
think there's some deep healing happening today."
Oh, fabulous.
So
You
that's
know
good.
what? I'll just
God
add
bless.
I'll add one more little thing, because we just put our whole karate school into 2 little tiny storage units.
Yeah.
2 5x10 storage units.
Wow.
It's like a lot of the stuff the mat took up a whole bunch of space, and you can stack them on top of each other, so that helps.
Right.
But there was a lot of stuff, because my husband's been doing karate since he's 12.
Wow.
Okay, we're 59 now. It's a long time.
No
So
kidding.
there are some things that were just accumulated over time that are just kind of a part of him, which really didn't need anymore. And I'm like Rita, if I don't look at it in 6 months, it's gone. It's like, I don't need you anymore. He was able to just let go of so much stuff. And this time, it was so easy for him, because normally I have to like question it. And is it okay if I put this in the giveaway pile or whatever like that? It just flew, and I could see he just feels so much lighter. It's like this huge relief.
Right.
By letting, and some of that energy was probably just not even good for the business that was lingering around. Like you were just saying, that energy you just said it was saturated or whatever in that space, right? So that, and for me, I feel like, great, what other possibilities show up? We might have like 3 other places to consider where we want to go to, just by having cleaned out. And the things we weren't going to take, like furniture pieces and things like that, we put them out on this little breezeway that's right by the entrance to the building. And other people were coming and taking it. Like, can we have this? Can I have? I'm like, yeah, it's free. All this stuff is free. Just take it away. And so it was great, because one goes, oh, I'm just starting this art studio, and I could use this to put all my paints in. I'm like, take it.
Take it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like that person was like excited to get the thing that I was letting go of.
That's cool too, because when you can do that, when you can let it go that way, I think it's easier than having to throw it into a dumpster or something like that, because now you know it's being used.
Right. If you
Sure.
had some attachment to it, I mean, I didn't, but I'm sure my husband was happy that people were able to use this stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it always feels better to know that somebody else can get use out of the thing you don't need anymore.
Right. Absolutely.
It doesn't feel like it's a final end, like, oh, the poor thing has to get thrown into a trash heap, you know? Big difference, big energetic difference. So thank you. That was a good question, Jenny. Appreciate that one. If anyone else has a question that you'd like to have Rita address, just type it into the live stream. We'll be glad to bring it up. But in the meantime, I'm going to bring up a question of my own. I've been
Sure.
doing all this work, and I think I already know what the answer is, but I want to get your take on it. I've been doing all this work on this LOA Today app. The app is out. I've been making repairs to it. The repairs are out. I'm now to a point where I should be able to just take a break for a while, which was my goal, to just take a break, relax, and so forth. I'm finding myself still hanging on to, oh my God, is this going to actually pay off? All this work that I did, is this actually going to lead to people wanting to use the app and so forth? And I say that even as I know people are downloading the app, but there's that piece of me that's just hanging on to it. So
Right.
do I have anything to be concerned about there?
No. The only concern is your anxiety around it. That's it. That's the only thing. And honestly, even with your anxiety around it, it's not stopping. So I don't know if there's somebody, it feels like there's, oh, hold on. Oh, when you decided to do this, you had two more energies step in from the spiritual world to help you get this out.
Oh.
Two spiritual energies. And then with the push from me and Linda, it pushed it so much further than you even thought it was going to go.
True.
It just created momentum now, even with those little thoughts or those feelings of, it's not stopping it. The momentum is already there. So this is a good learning thing, because we tend to question every time something is going our way. We're like either waiting for the shoe to drop or this to happen or that. And every time I think like that, what I do is I just say, thank you. I'll take some more of the good, instead of, I'll just replace that, that negative energy or whatever thought process. I'll just replace it with gratitude and just kind of let it float away, instead of getting angry at it, because when you get angry at it, it just makes it worse, right? Damn it, why do I keep thinking about it? Is it not gonna it's fine. You actually don't really actually, they're saying you can take 2 weeks.
Good.
That's the number. 2 weeks to just whatever it is you want to do, and then you'll be it's like a reset button for you. They're resetting you so that you could start new again.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 weeks that's a good break. I like that. That's a good time frame. So okay.
You'll feel rejuvenated after that. You'll feel like, oh, I want to come back and do more now.
Good.
Whatever it is.
Okay. Cool.
All right, cool.
That's good stuff. Got a question from first of all, Jeffrey gave us a couple comments. He's the one who first said there's some deep healing going today. He also said, I spent yesterday evening at the river praying for cleansing. And then he has a question. He says, can you speak about intentions, thoughts, and prayers and their effect on the world?
Sure. I mean, I'm sure even Linda has stuff to say about that. This is, as far as I'm concerned, intention is everything. When you have an intention that, even more so when you include, let's say, the collective consciousness in your intention of love, peace, joy. When I'm praying, I'm always praying, let there be peace. Let it begin with me and allow me to spread that peace. When you do that and you put that energy out there, it just goes and goes and goes. It's the ripple effect, and even if you don't see the effects, it's still happening. So you don't think if you don't see something to stop doing it. You know, it's kind of like what we read in the book when we say we praise the Lord or we praise the law or Jesus or this or that. That is to lift our energy to help move the energy into a better place, the collective consciousness. That's what we're doing. So our prayers are really helping us with our energy to get, to get a higher vibration, to get it out into the universe. So they're not stuck on, spirit's not stuck on us praising them. They know if we appreciate, they feel that appreciation. So, but they don't get stuck on it. There's no, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no expectation of it. Yeah, there's no expectation of it. So when you love, spirit feels your love. When you appreciate, they feel it. When you acknowledge, they feel, they sense it. So if he's praying to be cleansed, what he has to know is he's already cleansed. What he needs to do is just thank the universe for cleansing him. It's already done. The expectation, right, of it being done already is what makes it so.
Plus, I want to add the point too that it all goes out. That's why consciousness and awareness is so key, because when you're aware that the energy you send out, the thoughts you think go out way past your reality and your life, it goes into the collective to people have all different numbers of how many people are reached with a single thought. I keep hearing like 35,000. Can you imagine that? So if you're doing your cleansing, like Rita was just saying, you're not just doing it for you. You're helping so many people who don't even know that they could do that, who might catch that wave and be like, and somehow it awakens something within them to do the same. So but the thing is, when we start getting in that negative thing, you want to be aware of, okay, now I'm sending this negative shit out to everybody. It's not just me. It's going out to all these other people, which might be incentive to be like, okay, how can we shift that? Like, how can we lighten that? How can I turn that in a way that helps me and helps everyone else who catches it?
Yeah, it's like fire. It's just that people just catch it like that, and they catch it very easily, and that can go both ways. You can get the angry person that makes everybody in the room angry, or you can get this happy-go-lucky person, and it spreads again like wildfire. So it's all about choice. What do you choose to put out there? But what's his name? I'm sorry, Jeffrey?
Jeffrey. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're cleansed, Jeff. It's all good. No worries.
Yeah, and really the only thing that makes you think you're not is just a thought. And
that's it.
You can just change that.
That's it. Right. That's the beauty. And that's how powerful. I was thinking about that today. I'm like, God, we are so powerful. We don't even know how powerful we are.
We're learning.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
I am. I know this is not.
To remember, exactly. Because really, it's just amnesia.
Yeah.
It's just amnesia. So once we remember, we're good to go.
I'm sitting here thinking about what you said a moment ago. I had two energies who were helping me get the project moving along. And I'm wondering, are those two energies of people who I've known in this life, or are they're other energies?
These are your helpers from spirit.
Just,
like guides.
Spirit guides.
Yeah. And sometimes they come in for very short periods of time to do a project with you, and boom, they're gone to somebody else to help them. And then you get, either the ones that you are already with, or others come to help with the next project, whatever it is. But yeah, two helpers.
Because I'm curious. I'm curious about it for a particular reason, because I can recall, I don't remember if it was before or after when you guys kind of challenged me, come on, you can make this happen quicker. You don't have to wait months and months. It was either just before or just after that. I remember having a little conversation in my own head saying, I could really use some help from maybe someone who's passed who had lots of programming experience.
I was just going to say that. And these two people already knew what to do. They're highly evolved, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're talking about programming on a different level. They had to they had to come down to your level to help you. But nonetheless, they're telling you, Walt, if you want to learn something else, we can show you a higher level of programming if you'd like. So think about that. they're inviting you for that.
Okay. I don't even know what that entails, but that sounds cool.
I don't either.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's an adventure.
Yeah.
I guess my answer is yeah, sure. Show me.
Right.
Teach me.
Right.
Take me in, put me in night school, like Linda says.
Yeah, put yourself in night school. Go ahead.
You know, every time Spirit asked me if I wanted to do something, I've only said no to them once, right? But then I got reminded by my mentor that was teaching me, you have the right to say no or not at this time. I always thought, how could I say no to Spirit? They've helped me in so many ways. And she says, no, you're learning boundaries. They're teaching you boundaries. You don't always have to say yes if they need you to do something. But as you know, maybe that's even part of the way I was raised. It's like, how do you tell God, no, it's not, you know, you just can't. But there's no, again, there's no expectations. There's no judgment. It's, we're inviting you. Would you like to do this? Oh, okay. You're not ready right now. We'll come back at another time.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how people say, oh, I missed out on that. No, you didn't miss out on it. You just weren't ready at that moment.
Well, I think we also, as human beings, have a tendency to not want to offend somebody else. You know, oh, I don't want to offend them because I didn't take their gift, and so we kind of, you know, attribute the same thing to,
right,
you know, these energetic beings, but it doesn't apply to them. We forget
right,
that part.
Exactly.
You know what? And that comes right around to clutter. Because how many times have you received a gift and you're like, I have to put it out because she's coming over for dinner, but you hate the damn thing.
Plenty.
Right? That kind of stuff, you have the right to not have to have it be displayed because it's your energy that has to live with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So for that woman who asked that question, maybe this came up because part of that could be what's going on for her too. Like maybe there's things that she feels obligated to have within her space that you truly are not.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Jeffrey has a follow-up to his earlier question about cleansing, you know, praying at the river and so forth. He says, my prayers have been for the planet and the environment. Can you talk about the spirits that are helping to cleanse the planet?
Well, I experience a lot of the earth energies that, because I don't have a lot of earth in me, like in my sign and everything. I'm very much air. Mm-hmm. So I purposely connect to earth energy to keep me grounded. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if he's familiar with the gnomes, the fairies, the divas, the elementals, the butterflies, the dragonflies. All those energies are working towards healing Mother Earth. But also we are doing that. When we give thanks, when we connect to her, we're giving her energy as well. She's excellent at regrouping and regenerating the energy and actually clearing it. When it's too much energy is when she has to release, which is when we get a hurricane or a volcano or a, you know, an earthquake or something like that. That's her releasing. That's, you know, that's like anytime something gets stopped up too much and has to cleanse, right? Mm-hmm. So those are the energies that I connected. There are also spirit energies from the other side that are also helping with that and protecting certain pieces or pieces of the land, because there's portals that are all around the world that are helping to keep us more aligned. There could be so much more damage here if it weren't for these energies that are connected to us. I can't even tell you how many there are that are helping. They're numerous.
I've heard of these portals before. What are these portals? They're like energy portals? What are they?
They're energy, like what you have in your yard, honey, right?
I have one, yes.
Yeah,
okay, so
she has
that kind
her
of a
own
portal.
energy portal there where you can go and actually work. Now, I feel like yours does connect to the earth. That portal does connect to Mother Earth and is helping to raise the vibration of Mother Earth. So there are portals that are helping the air. There are portals helping spirit. There are portals helping people jumping from one dimension to the next. You can go from one dimension to the next through a portal. This is some deep and heavy stuff, right? But it can happen. There's just, you know, ways to do that. And you have to be evolved to the point where you can handle something like that. But they're placed all over the world, and they're here to help stabilize us. They're here to help cleanse us. They're here to help when it's time to get initiated, like those portals need to be initiated to help with the collective consciousness and raising the consciousness. They're activated. It's numerous. We can do a whole show just on that, and I would prepare myself for something like that. But this is the shorter version of it.
You know what? I have to just say something. I got to ask Rita about this because we know I have that portal in my yard, right? Yeah. And I actually was using that and grounding to the earth the other, because all this moving, I had a headache. I never get headaches, so I gave it to the earth. I was sending out love. I was connecting with the portal. Fine, that's just a side note. But my husband and my son both had, in the same night, had this weird experience in their dreams. And my son knows what it's like to lucid dream. So said he was in a lucid dream, and he felt like he might have been losing the connection. So he said, oh, I'm going to do something fun while I'm still in this lucid dream. And he decided to just push himself out, kind of like flying. For him, he's always like flying in these things. So he pushed himself out through this into space, and he like bumped into something, kind of got stuck. Now, the weirdest thing is he felt like it was like there was this disc that was going by, and then he got stuck in it, or he felt he might have been stuck in it, because he said that from that point on, his whole body was vibrating, and there was like this, like this energy that was going through him, and he felt like he bumped into a spaceship and was halfway up the spaceship. And it's a dream, and it's a lucid dream, but yet there was this really energetic component to it where he had this vibration and this pulsing, and he felt like there were these beings there, like, where did this guy come from, right? So, crazy. But my husband had a dream the same night, very similar, no spaceships involved, but where he started having this pulsing energy. He thinks he was awake, but he's not entirely sure, of this buzz and this pulse. And my son said he felt like, like Rice Krispies, a snap, crackle, pop, like he felt like that was happening all around him. I don't know, Rita, you got any hits on that?
Yeah, they joined consciousness, the two of them. They joined their consciousness to experience this, but it wasn't just a dream. It really did happen. Right. And so they did your son bumped into this, they're just energies from spirit. Like, they will only let you go so far, because then you have to come back into your body if you're meant to come back, right? Mm-hmm. But what they did was they gave him energy, and it's almost like, how do I describe this? It's like they also took information from his body and his energy so that it could help them learn more about us, right? Because he's so open. So they're like, oh, all right, he can handle this. He thinks he's just in a dream, and that's what made him able to be okay with it. Yeah. Your husband couldn't have handled that piece of it. He just got the back end of the buzzing piece that created this. Now, what it did was, Linda, it helped create this synergy now that, you were kind of here in vibration, and let's just say they were maybe here in vibration, and now they're vibrating to you equally. So moving forward, whatever you manifest comes very quickly because of this.
Woohoo!
Nice.
Yeah, that's why you're experiencing, well, what else? Where else could we go? What else could we do? Right. You're just going to watch it now. Like, just watch it. This is going to be a great movie. Watch the whole thing unfold. And as it unfolds, you'll go, okay, now I need to do something to make that, happen. All right, now I need to wait. Now I need to do something to make that happen. And the reason I brought it up was, is it the portal that's assisting this? Yes, 100%. Okay. 100%. It's also the portal that brings them back, because it needs to ground them. Okay. It is of the earth, that portal. Yeah, my son has a lot of experience like that. He goes, it's like when I come back and I'm like, everything's glowing blue around me, Yes.
Yeah.
He's an avatar. Yes. What do we
got
got, Walt?
I've got an interesting question from Joshua.
Okay.
Joshua says, people hear guides all the time, but they take credit for others' thoughts. No one asks, am I the only one speaking? What do you think?
I'm not sure I understand.
I'll repeat it. He says, people hear guides all the time, but
Right.
they take no credit, but they take credit for others' thoughts. No one is ever asking, am I the only one speaking?
I still don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not getting that. All right, I thought it was just, I said, what's wrong with me? Why don't I get this? So he's saying that, yes, so I hear guides, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is he saying, why am I not?
I think what he's doing is he's questioning, are we actually getting messages?
Oh, well, I think everybody gets messages just in different ways. That's all. And to what their ability is at that moment, meaning if they're at a very high vibration, they can have a lot of energy come through and messages come through. If they're vibrating at a lower vibration, they may not be able to hear or see or feel or know something at that moment. You know, when you're in a shitty mood, you can't. I mean, that's just when you're angry or you're upset. It's very difficult, or even stressed out. It's very difficult to hear. But this kind of stuff that we're doing right now feeds my energy. So all of a sudden my vibration will do this, right? And now I can get even more information as it comes through, right? And it'll come through in different ways. Sometimes I'll see it, like when you're describing your son, saw the whole thing. I can see the whole thing. Sometimes I'll feel it, sometimes I'll hear it, know it. It really all depends on the best way it is to come through.
Was there a part of his? Was there a part of his question where he's questioning whose voice it is? Like, what was the second part of that question?
The second part says, no one seems to ask, am I the only one speaking?
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah, I think what he's doing is taking on the question of, are we ever really getting messages, or is this nothing more than just us talking to ourselves inside our own heads?
We're all in the Matrix.
Well, yes, that is very true. We are all interconnected and linked. So I could be getting somebody's thought down the road and it's not mine, right? But it'll sometimes come in your own voice. It'll sometimes come in a different voice. It doesn't mean if it comes in your own voice that it's just you.
Oh, he's given us a follow-up here. So he's clarifying. He says, everyone hears, but won't credit the idea that someone else is talking. Most would be scared of someone else in their mind, more of a statement than a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny because Spirit had me begin with my own thoughts, like hearing myself, but knowing that I'm getting a download, right? I'm going to say that probably 85% of the time it's me getting information, but not necessarily hearing a different voice. But I know it's not me. You just begin to understand the difference. But I'm not afraid to say if it's something else. Because you know how you hear somebody call your name, but you know it's not you. Yes. You know it came from somewhere, right? And that's a different voice. So when you have as much dialogue as we have when we're working with Spirit, you get to understand the little nuances and things that come with it, so that you know the difference between just you and your connection to Spirit. But here's the other thing: we are Spirit. So it really doesn't matter if it's your voice or somebody else's voice, right? Or you imagine it's what Jesus would sound like or Mary would sound like. Does not matter. It's still happening.
Good point.
You know, and I'll add to that too, because it comes to me different than how it comes to Rita. But for me, it's just a knowing, right? Let's clear cognizance, I think, right? So it's like I just suddenly know something I didn't know that I knew, but it's the perfect thing for whoever it is I'm working with. And the way I started to realize when it was me or not me is that when it's not me, it comes in fast. Yes. Like there's no thinking about it. It just comes in to where sometimes I can't even keep up with it. So I'll make little notes and things to try to remember what it was that was coming through. And then I just ask for it to come through again based on that. But that's when you start to know the difference between if it's your voice or some other voice, if you're not hearing a different audible voice.
Yeah.
You're confirming something for me, because that's what I've been trying to notice a lot more. Every once in a while, like you say, this thought comes to you, and my instant reaction is, where did that come from?
Right.
And it's like I've been kind of playing with, okay, that's a message of some kind.
Right.
And I'm still not quite sure what to do with it, but at least I have a way of differentiating. For me, that was the hardest part. How the heck do you differentiate? How do you tell the difference? But now
that's
I'm
how
starting
people
to get it.
get in the way of connecting to spirit, because they just don't believe that they can get a message, or what they're getting is really the truth, until someone confirms it to them. I've had so many people come to me just for confirmation that what they're getting is truth. You know, and then I'll say something that they already thought or they were hearing, and they're like, oh shit, okay, I was really hearing that. Yeah. And like Linda said, my too strong is the claircognizant, which is the knowing, and the feeling, which is the clairsentient. The other stuff comes in when that starts to build. The seeing and the hearing comes in after that for me.
So it clears the way for the rest of it.
Oh yeah. And then you're right. Once you get going, Linda, there's no stopping it coming out. There's no stopping it.
Yeah. And Walt, then you just ask, okay, show me more about that. Whatever that was, show me more and how this applies to me, or what I can do with this. Just ask the question.
Okay.
Right.
All right. I'll try that. Jeffrey actually asked 3 questions in a row here. So I'll give you all 3 of them. You can take them whatever order you want. Going back to the question about portals, he says, are we talking about sacred sites? Second question, can you talk about spirit tribes? And third question, can you talk about the connection between empaths and psychics, or psychic abilities?
Sure. What was the first one?
First one was, when you're talking about portals, are you talking about sacred sites?
Yes, some of the portals are in sacred sites. Absolutely. Like in Egypt, like in the Bahamas, there's where Atlantis was. There's many sacred sites that have portals connected to them. Absolutely. What was the second question?
Second one, can you talk about spirit tribes?
You mean here or in spirit?
That's all the information I have.
So in spirit, we all come with a tribe in spirit. Okay, we're all connected in spirit to a tribe. So you get together with your tribe. You decide with this tribe, okay, we're going to come in as 2 brothers. You're going to be my mother. Would you be my father? The whole thing, right? We create the whole thing before we get here. The tribe gets here, totally forgets. Right? We get amnesia. But the lessons that we come in to learn determines if we're going to stay with that tribe when we cross over, or if we're going to move up in vibration because we've learned a lot more than the actual tribe that we've been with here. So we may be moving, it's not a matter of somebody knows more than somebody else. That's not what it is. It's a matter of, okay, I'm at the level where I can go up a little bit and work with this tribe now in spirit. And some of the tribe that you came with may come with you, and others stay in the other tribe, but you never, ever lose contact with the tribe, ever. Whether you're here or whether you're in spirit, you're always connected. It's like a big party up there. And here, if it's on Earth, the tribe you're talking, if he wants to know about the Earth tribe, these are people that you connected to, sometimes family, most of the time. But
friends, I love the way you said that.
Friends that feel like family, people that come to you and you go, holy shit, I know you, and they're part of your tribe, but it's been 50 years since you've seen them in this life, right? I mean, there's a million. I feel like my tribe is growing by the second here, you know? So, and the last question?
Can you talk about the connection between empaths and psychics, or psychic abilities?
So empaths have the ability to feel other people's stuff. They're very sensitive. They can pick up little nuances in people's energies. Sometimes they take on people's energies if they don't have good boundaries. The good piece of that is they're sensitive, so they can feel things from spirit that the average person maybe couldn't pick up on because they weren't sensitive. They're very logical in their head, right? For me, being an empath, that's what made it a curse and a blessing at the same time, because the curse was I was picking up everybody's energy around me of my family, and I couldn't distinguish mine. And back then, nobody understood what this meant. So it was, let's give her Ativan, let's give her something to calm her nerves, right? But as I got older and I realized that I could use this tool, which is now what I look at it as, a tool to connect to spirit easily, now it became the gift.
Okay.
So it's not really a curse. It's really, once you learn how to create boundaries, it really can be used more as a gift than anything. But really trying in these times of a pandemic, let me tell you.
Why is that? Be specific about that.
Well, this is not when this first began, my body was like, what is happening? It was like being, like, I felt like Swiss cheese, like energy is just pulling and pulling, because I could feel all that fear, all that anxiety, all that energy surrounding either sickness or death or this or that. It became very overwhelming until I finally, reached out to my own, because you have to reach out to people that even we do, even the psychics and mediums and healers have to reach out to others to help them. So I started reaching out to others to help me get in my groundedness, get me, clear. And so that I had to put more boundaries up for me. I had to protect myself more often than the average once a day. Now, at the beginning of my journey, I was protecting myself constantly. Once a day wasn't even on the list. It was like, if I had to do it every hour, I had to do it every hour. Then as time went on, once a day, maybe twice a day. But when this pandemic kicked up, brutal. Had to do it again, all the time. But now there's so many more tools that you can use to do that, Sure. Yeah.
I'm interested that you were going through that, though, because I didn't have it anywhere near to the degree that you're describing. But I thought everybody was experiencing it, because I don't normally get stuff like that. And I was just overwhelmed. I was just feeling all this stuff, all this anxiety, all this fear.
I am sure everybody was feeling it, but an empath will feel it 100 times more.
And yet I've also talked to people and they said, oh, well, it wasn't all that bad. And I'm thinking, really?
Yes,
what?
Those people may not be connected. I don't know. Because I can't imagine nobody feeling like nothing, even if you're picking up somebody else's pain, it's like, maybe you're not letting it get to you. That's different. That's different.
And I knew it wasn't mine. That was one of the coolest parts about it. Not that there was a cool time, but it was a really clear line for me between what I was feeling and what I was getting.
Yes.
There was no confusion at all.
That's fantastic. What a great lesson that is to get out of something like this.
I hadn't thought about it that way, but yeah, that is exactly what it was. It was a real moment of clarity. Yeah.
Yeah, and pat yourself on the back for seeing it without having to experience it, like without having to let it in.
That's right. And take it on.
Yeah.
Take it on. Yeah. I hope that helped Jeffrey.
I think it probably did. Joshua followed up. He said, intuition is like lightning flashes. I get a narration like I'm Deadpool and arguing with 7 people. Interesting way of describing it.
He's very, yes. I like his analogy there. So is he saying like he's either talking to like 1,000 of them when he's connecting, or?
I don't know. Joshua, why don't you give us a little more detail about it? Because you've piqued our curiosity here.
Yeah. Well, and when he said Deadpool, I think he meant the character, right? Because he was always giving the commentary out to the camera who's filming the video.
Okay.
So I don't know, but that's how I took it. So I don't know if that's what he meant. He said like I'm Deadpool.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So, okay. Well, they're a little quiet right now, but keep those questions coming. If you haven't asked a question, feel free to jump in on the live stream chat, and that's where we're picking up questions to ask Rita. Or if you just want to follow up on something you've already asked, feel free to do that. I want to ask you something else about something that you said that kind of tied into something that David Strickle, who receives the stream, was saying. And I'm trying to remember exactly how he phrased it, but the gist of it is that source energy, we often refer to it as the non-physical.
Right.
And he made the point that we're actually physical. Source energy is actually physical. So it's incorrect to say that it's non-physical, because source energy is physical energy.
Because we're source.
So
I think he meant because source is in everything. So
right,
it's in all of this physical stuff as well. Yeah.
But he was also driving at the idea that the energy itself is physical. So I was curious to see what your take was on that.
Well, I mean, physical meaning a physical entity like us, or physical, I don't know.
I'm not sure, and I think that's one of the reasons I'm asking you to see what you think about it. I don't really know. I couldn't really drill down enough.
Yeah, I think, I mean, my perception of it is, you know, this is the physical body, but it's nothing of really, it's only really being lent to us to, you know, walk this journey. The real essence of us is an essence. It's a spiritual essence, you know. It's here's the thing that I think: you can create anything, right? Even in spirit, you can create anything. So, you know, this right here has energy, right? No matter what you're holding, feeling, touching, all of that, it all has energy. The only reason why it's dense energy or physical energy is because it's vibrating at a much lower energy. When you vibrate at a higher frequency, higher energy, you become the speed of light. You become that essence. But if you take that and you make it lower and lower and lower, and now we're dense.
You know what?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think also you could be referring to is, if we could sense it in some way, then it has some sort of, maybe not mass, but it has something that is measurable, which makes it be something,
right,
other than nothing, which would be, which could give it a physicality in some sense. That's the way I was taking that.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's something that, have you guys ever heard of adamantane particles?
Yeah.
Say that. What kind of particles?
Adamantane.
I'm trying to think.
I'm not sure.
So there's this book about Jesus that someone has written that talks about these particles that are the essence of who we are. Like everybody says we're the atom and the.
Oh, I see. Yes.
But there is this essence, this adamantane particle that kind of rules the essence of who we are and rules like the love of who we are. Maybe we'll talk about that next time, but it's a physical, it's like a physical, non-physical thing, you know? So it's, I think, and I also think things can change that way, you know, because we could get ourselves to the point where we're that light levitating, right? Completely come into a light body, can see it. Someone else can visualize you being in a light body. And then all of a sudden you come back into your regular body, you know? So yeah, I think it's,
it kind of reminded me when the stream was giving me that information, it resonated to me in a way that says source energy itself has physicality. And the thought that came to me was Einstein's famous formula, E equals mc squared. Because E equals mc squared says E, energy, is equal to mass times the square of the speed of light. So energy is equated to mass. And that means that all forms of energy in that formula are various states of mass. Which
again ties into where is the frequency at. Either it's going to be a table, which is a denser frequency, or it's going to be your aura, which is of a different frequency, you know?
So for me, it was meaning the energy that Einstein was referring to, in my mind, was equating to source energy. It's the same energy.
Same energy. Absolutely. Yeah. You've heard of like earth angels. Sometimes they'll come for a split second as a human, or what people think is a human, right? In a physical form. They'll help that person in need in that second, and then they turn around and they're gone. They're back in spirit again. They form themselves and they're back out again. So
And we've heard those stories. People appeared
100%.
and disappeared out of thin air. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that happens all the time.
Now, we asked for some follow-up from Joshua about what he was talking about with his Deadpool arguing with 7 people. He said, it's more of an argument than divine guidance. He said, I would panic, for instance, as there's this peanut gallery of comics telling me to calm down or whatever. It helps, but like a sibling would also slap you at the same time.
Well, I think spirit is very loving. And I think that sometimes they have to do a little tough love. Like I got reprimanded today as well. So I was like, I get it. I knew it before it was even coming. You know, it's like they're like, slow down. You need to take a breath. You're doing too much. You're giving out too much energy. But they said it in a way where it had to make me understand. Slow it down. You know, so yeah, they can be reprimanding, but loving in the same breath. You know it's coming from a good place. If you don't think it's coming from a good place, it's your own ego. You're only in judgment at that moment.
That's a good rule of thumb, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Because that's pretty clean cut.
Absolutely.
Makes it easy to determine which is which.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nothing more coming right now from live streams. So I'm just going to go back once more to the stuff that I was bringing up earlier. I'm really still thinking about those 2 energies that you were talking about that are programmers. And I'm asking myself, okay, well, they've got this offer to me that I've accepted to, learn the higher level of programming. What do I look for now? I mean,
Within the week, they're saying within a week, you'll see the signs. Stop asking what you're looking for because you're going to be too busy looking and not see it. That's how they said that.
They know me well, apparently.
Yes. No need to look. We're already on it.
We're already on it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just take the vacation then.
That's it. It probably will come then, Walt, because you'll be relaxed. So it'll just kind of show itself then.
Well, starting tomorrow, because over the weekend we're going beaching. So, I'll start it then and I'll just continue it through next week.
That's all.
Plus, I think they already proved it to you because weren't you amazed at how you were able to get all of that done?
Oh, yeah, sure. Right. I'm
So
just
they
curious
already-
to know what this new teaching is going to be, because that's what I get the impression that I'm going to be learning something new. I'm like, oh, wow, what's it going to be? When's it going to come?
Right. So it'll drop in just like it did when you got all the programming done.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. They're going to have fun with you, boy. Get ready.
I don't know what to do.
It's like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
That's great. That energy is what's going to make it come faster.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep that up.
Well, it's kind of exciting. Which I have to say is a significant turnaround for me. 10 years ago, no way I had that attitude.
Right.
10 years ago, I was in a dismissive, state.
Right.
Like, no way. This is a bunch of nonsense. None of this is ever going to happen. Now it's like, bring it on. I can hardly wait.
Bring it on. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Well,
good.
let your little kid out and build a sandcastle when you're at the beach.
Yeah.
Build a sandcastle?
Yeah.
Yep.
See what comes through while you're doing that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Oh, got another question from Jeffrey. He says, are the things we want, the things that we ask for using the law of attraction, are they the tools that we need to help raise the planet's vibration?
The tools for the law of attraction, he's saying?
He's saying, are the things that we want, the things that we ask for using LOA, are they the tools that we need to help raise the planet's vibration?
Well, it depends what the tools are. I mean, if they're used for good, yes.
It depends what you're asking for, I guess.
It goes back to intention.
Yeah.
If the intention is pure, then absolutely. Anything pure will raise the consciousness.
What is pure, by the way?
Purity of heart. It's like when you set the intention that you just don't want it for yourself, you want it for everyone.
Okay.
It's not a selfish thing. Not to say that you can't have something for yourself,
sure.
But when you include the greater good and the collective consciousness, now it's like absolutely.
So you're essentially asking for yourself as part of source energy rather than just for yourself as the ego.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which is cool.
Very cool.
So hopefully that answers your question, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's really on this
Jeffrey, tell people to come in next week. We're doing it again. I think we're going to do it again, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Let's do this for a few weeks. Fun. As long as the questions keep coming, we'll just keep doing it.
Awesome.
And, yeah. I do want to take a moment to remind people to, if you haven't done it already, download the LOA Today app, because among other things, we're going to incorporate stuff like this. I haven't quite figured out how. Maybe this is what I'm going to learn from the high-end programming, but we're going to start incorporating this stuff into the app so that we can do this kind of thing that we're doing live in the app.
Yeah. Perfect.
And I can even see it breaking into like groups. I don't even know what that means, but like groups.
Starting to come. Starting to come.
And it begins.
Right?
All which is a way of saying you want to make sure you have the app, because it'll keep updating with all this stuff as it keeps building and building and building. So, go to the Play Store if you're on an Android, go to the App Store if you're on an iPhone, and just look for LOA Today's app and download it and start listening to the podcast there. I mean, that's the first thing that's on there. And right now we also have Dan Mangana's Money Game ebook on there, which is by a person who really knows how to attract money. Dan has attracted millions of dollars for himself and for his clients, and helps his clients learn how to do their own attracting. It's also got on there his Beyond Intention audio course, which is sort of a more general way of understanding how do you start applying LOA in your own life. And I am just now in the process of adding Cindy Chavez's ebook, and it's a long title, so bear with me while I remember it. It's The Lovely Magician's Guide to Soulmate Success. Basically a relationships book with the law of attraction. That's about to go on there. And this stuff is just going to keep getting added and added and added. I'm already thinking about adding in the book that Linda, you contributed to a couple of years ago, the book that we called Your Daily Dose of Happy, Real Success Stories of the Law of Attraction. I'm thinking of putting that one on the app as well. This app is going to just become like the super app. It's going to be an app. So please download and install and start listening to us there, and send us feedback. By the way, you can ask questions to the stream on that app. You can send a question to me to be used here to ask to Rita. I'll even be adding a page that'll be directly question for asking Rita for a psychic reading on a question. You got to get the app, guys. That's where it's all happening.
Got to do it.
Got to do it.
You know what? Walt, before we sign off, I want to acknowledge in real time what you just said. You said you can feel it. Like these things that are coming to that, you can feel it. You don't know what it is yet, but you can feel it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's that line. That stream is open. Those guys are going to be telling you all sorts of stuff. You don't have to know what it is. It'll just come as it comes, just like it just did.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what I'm learning to do then. Keep that stream open. So very good, guys. This is a good first psychic Q&A session.
All right. Really thank you all for coming.
Thank you for being our psychic reader, and thank you, Linda, for adding in the energy component, which always was, spot on as usual. Thank you to our live streamers for some wonderful questions, and especially thank you to our podcast listeners for being podcast listeners. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.
Hear the music. Rita and I are going to dance anyway, even though we don't hear the music.
Oh, and I thought I set it up so you guys could hear it. Let me try it again. See if you can get the last one of it.
All right.
It's like lip syncing.
You hear it now?
Yeah.
Now we can
go. Up before. I don't know what's going on. Oh well.
It's all good.